Why hello there, I am Scorched Scales, and over the last week I have been watching? Ah yes, I've been watching a book. I went to the cinema, I sat down, and I watched a book. I watched words.
Did you know that in terms of male human and female Pokemon?
But over the last week, I have been reading. I almost said Moon Rising. I read Winter Turning. And across my reading of Wings of Fire for the first time, I have been keeping track of my ranking of the books. Just after finishing Winter Turning last night, I would personally rank it here. Yeah, I did like it. I did enjoy this. It's just that this may be a shorter video this time, because I don't really have that much to say about it. Okay, jumping straight into the actual discussion. Just for a record, once again, I did like this book. I just didn't like it as much as the others. The biggest issue I have with this book is the pacing. Now, I'm very particular about pacing. If you have decent pacing, you've already won half the battle with me. And, for me personally, the first part of this book was extremely slow. I mean, even the epilogue with Hailstorm, I felt like I was there for ages. And the thing is, out of all the parts of this book, theoretically, part 1 is the one I should have enjoyed the most. Well, I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it. It's just that for me, the pacing just grinded to a halt. But part 1 should theoretically be my favourite part of the book, because it takes place in the rainforest, and it features the return of both Glory and Deathbringer, two of my favourite characters from Arc 1. And also, I adore the little interactions that they have with each other. I think it's adorable. So therefore, theoretically, part 1 I should be looking forward to the most. Theoretically, that should be my favourite part of the book. But for me personally, the pacing really held the first part back for me. But the strange thing is, I don't really have any other significant issues with this book. Like, with The Lost Heir, I was able to pinpoint and identify the issues I had with that. I was able to pinpoint and explain what brought the book down for me. But I haven't been able to do that with this book yet. I still haven't been able to identify why I didn't enjoy this book as much as I did the other ones. This book will probably be the one that I change my thoughts on the most in the future. Like, this could very likely move higher or lower the more I think about this book. But yeah, everything beyond part 1 is a extremely solid Wings of Fire book. If it wasn't for that first half, this would probably be above the Dragonette Prophecy, but below the Hidden Kingdom, in my opinion. Now, as for characters, this is normally my longest segment of these videos that I do. But there's barely any new characters in this book to talk about. Which, well, yes, that is a great thing, because instead of introducing brand new characters and us getting introduced to like tons of different characters, instead we get to spend more time with the ones that we already have and get connected to them more. But, on the opposite effect, it doesn't really give me that much to talk about. But of course, we should start by talking about the main character, the POV of this book, Winter. Now, I noted in my Moon Rising video that I was very intrigued to see what it's like seeing from Winter's point of view. Like, how does he think? How does this past affect him? And how does he change as a character? And how do you make this prick a compelling protagonist? And something that I particularly noted in the previous video was how Winter's family affected him. I thought the way Winter acted the way he did was due to him being directly related to the royal family. Now, I was close with this, because the main reason that Winter acts the way he does, while yes, it is directly connected to him being a part of the royal family, it also connects to him being an Icewing. And his character arc across this book is very much him overcoming the prejudices that being an Icewing was built into him. And his crush on Moonwatcher is mainly what starts his change, where he's going like, oh, are these dragons really that bad? While also worrying about how this would affect him, his family, and his ranking due to the Nightwings. Ah yes, the Nightwings. Maybe I am an Icewing. I think of something bad, I immediately blame it on the Nightwings. Because all this conflict built in within Winter all seems to stem from the Icewing seemingly believing that they are superior to everybody else. And I found that to be a very nice and interesting character arc to see on the page. Now, one of the few other new major characters I can talk about is Hailstorm. Now, I really think of Hailstorm as less of a character himself, but rather how he affects Winter. Because for the first half of the book, he is Winter's motivation. He is the reason that Winter is going through the story. But while going through the story to try and find Hailstorm, that's when Winter starts to question, oh, is this really that great being an Icewing? Is this really that good for me? And once the characters free Hailstorm, which I'll talk about later, Hailstorm then acts as pretty much the accumulation of Icewing culture, constantly peering down Winter's back, constantly questioning what Winter is doing, spitting the same things back at him that he would have thought at the beginning of the story. Now, as for Hailstorm and Pyrite, I'll fully admit, that is one of the few things about this arc that I have had spoiled for me. Because I have had a few broad, major things for Arc 2 that I did spoil myself for. But for Pyrite in particular, when I first heard about it, my takeaway was, they somehow disguised a Icewing as a Skywing? Huh? How does that work? But the second Pyrite started worshipping Queen Scarlet in her head, and how Moonwatcher was noting on this, that's when everything clicked together, and I was like, oh. Like, yeah, despite me kind of having that spoiled for me, it was still very effective in how it was done. Which, yeah, again, is an example of, oh, I know what was going to happen, yet I was still intrigued. As I've said before, if that isn't a sign of a good story, I don't know what is. Now, another thing that I had spoiled for this book, and the next book, is that I already know who the Nightwing is. Like, I am 90% sure that the Nightwing is a character called Carnelian, I think, who I'm pretty sure has Darkstalker's scroll, hence why he's... Did somebody just knock at the door? But the light isn't on. There's nobody at the door. It's happened. I've finally gone insane. Okay, so yeah, sadly, I already had the whole Carnelian thing spoiled for me. But I can't get over that, he came down in his Nightwing form and pretty much just broke Kinkajou. It was like picking up a Lego set and throwing it across the ground. Just shatters into millions of pieces. Kinkajou briefly became a ragdoll. I will admit, I am a little bit disappointed that we didn't get to see the conclusion of Kinkajou being injured, because, like, I care about Kinkajou. I care about her as a character. I want to see what happens to her. But that will probably be answered in the upcoming books. Oh wow, who would have thought? All of my answers about what's going to happen next get answered in the next books. What a genius idea! And the only other character that I have something to say about is Fateslayer, Darkstalker's mother. Like, yeah, once again, that's something that I had spoiled for me. But Fateslayer came across very differently than what I was expecting her to. Because due to Fateslayer basically being doomed to 2,000 years of death, I was expecting her to be miserable. I was expecting her to be a miserable old grump, basically going, kill me now. And this, and definitely in this voice too. This is definitely the very appropriate voice of the mother of Darkstalker. Like, just imagine going home and being like, oh, mummy, how has your day been today? And she's like, oh, why, dear, it's been a very good day for me. And I think I looked very pretty in my dress today. But as for her actual entombment, I was expecting it just to be, oh, you get touched, you freeze, you are basically asleep until you get reawakened again. But no, she gets stabbed, she gets shanked, she dies. She's died hundreds of times, basically. Like, oh, this poor woman. And there's also a reveal where she goes, oh, we didn't kidnap Arctic. I loved him. And, well, yes, this was probably intended to be like, oh, wow, what a twist. I already knew that, because I read the winglets. I am 20 steps ahead of them. I already know what's going to happen. I am God to this world. Also, something odd that I encountered at the end of this book. I listened to the audiobook, and I will note here that the audiobook for Winter Turning has a lot of issues. I mean, like, sometimes the audiobook just skips words, but at the end of the audiobook, after the epilogue, but before the Guide to the Kingdoms, there is a letter from Smolder to Winter. Like, where did that come from? I spent the whole time of that letter being read, scrolling through the book like, what? What is this? Did I miss something? So yeah, either A, that is a exclusive audiobook thing, or that might have been a part of some special edition that got read out. I don't know. I like Smolder, and it was cute hearing him try to give Winter advice. Now, something that I was expecting at the end of this book was that I was expecting the book to end with, oh, let's go fly back to the others. They meet up and talk, and Peril appears.
Hello there.
Because I am aware that Peril is the protagonist of the next book, which makes me very excited because she is my favourite Wings of Fire character. And I was expecting her to appear at the end so we could naturally ease to her point of view so we could continue the search for the lost city of Night. But no, the epilogue makes sure that Peril is at Jade Academy, which A, makes me very happy because we get to see Jade Academy again, but also, it really makes me curious about how she is going to go into their story. How are these two completely disconnected characters at the moment going to interlink? While yes, there is vague overlap because of Scarlet, however, there isn't any driving motives for Peril to go out there and join the Jade Winglet on their little adventure, which really makes me curious how she's going to join the story. So yes, those were my vague, disconnected thoughts on Winter Turning. I did enjoy Winter Turning. I did like Winter Turning. It's just that for me personally, this book is ranked below most of the others. Mainly because of the severe snail pace opening of the book. And also probably because of other reasons that I have not identified yet. And as for the art that I was drawing in this video, I actually really like how this came out. But I tell ya, this was not an easy one to draw. We got to the spikes. The thing that I have discovered with this drawing is that I can't draw straight lines. Like, I extremely struggled with the neck spikes. Because the whole point is that I was trying to make them look like icicles. And like, most of the time, they just ended up looking like horns. So yeah, I definitely need to work on that more. Like, Jesus Christ. I've seen Pride parades straighter than this. And also, yes, I am aware, Winter is white. And he isn't white here. He is blue. But, due to the background being white, I couldn't really do that. So for now, I'm going to make all my Icewings like a crystal blue until I can figure out a way around this. And also, I really like the little spike on top of the head. It looks like a little tiara. A little tiara for Prince Winter. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. So, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you another day.